Well, looks like we're just moving right up the Pacific Ring to Southeast Asia. And after going from drop bear to IRL dragons, what weird critter is up for today? Well, that would be the wonky little primate known as the gibbon. Yes, episode 87 is all about gibbons. Now, gibbons as a whole, but the two the game provides for us are the lar gibbon and the siamang. Before getting into the animals individually, however, what is a gibbon? Well, a gibbon is the sole group of primates a part of the lesser ape family. Seems a little underhanded, but honestly they're different enough from us and the other great apes to let it slide for now. Now, gibbons are mostly arboreal, which means they live the majority of their lives in the trees, and while monkeys and great apes may often be depicted swinging from branch to branch like monkey bars, due to their long arms and tree life, gibbons are the undisputed champions of brachiation. Having arms that are 1.5 times longer than their legs, which comparatively, for us, it is literally less than 1 to 1, it only makes sense that they are the champs. But when they do need to come to the ground, they are some of the goofiest goobers you will ever see. Due to their arms being way too long for their stride, they will walk on their hind legs and keep their arms above their heads as such. Now, you are most likely more familiar with gibbons than you think, as their calls are often used as jungle ambiance in all sorts of films. Every species has their own call, and as much as I'd love to show them all off, we only have so much time. So, I'll give you the calls of our two subjects today. Evolutionarily, I once again am left to scratch my head as we know surprisingly little. The oldest fossil we've found of gibbons dates back 7 to 8 million years ago, though they are suspected to have diverged 17 to 18 million years ago. Now, we don't know exactly when the siamang evolved, but we do know that the lar gibbon most likely evolved 3.3 million years ago. And since we're on the lar, let's get into its specificities. Scientifically known as Hylobates lar, they can be found in Yunnan, China, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Peninsula Malaysia, and Sumatra. There are 5 subspecies: the Malaysian, Carpenter, Central, Sumatran, and Yunnan. However, that last one, it may be extinct. We aren't 100% sure, but we have not seen it in a very long time. Now, originally, I thought lar might have been someone's name, like the Kirk's Dick Dick or the Cuvier's dwarf caiman, but turns out that part is a bit of a mystery. I did find 2 possible origins. One is that they may be a Malay word for the animal, or if it was given the name from Latin, a lar is an old type of house spirit, something akin to a brownie or hobgoblin, which, yeah, okay, I can see that. They're also known as the white-handed gibbon for obvious reasons. They're also known for their diverse color palette, ranging anywhere from sandy tan to straight black and everything in between. On the other side, the siamang is all black all the time. They're also comparatively massive. Being the largest of the gibbons, they can stand 3.3 feet tall and weigh 31 pounds. For comparison, our other star only comes in at 16 to 23 inches tall and 10 to 17 pounds. So, it's a beefy boy. It's scientifically known as Symphalangus syndactylus, or with together fingers, I think. It's kind of weird trying to figure this out. For one's Latin, one's Greek. Both of them definitely have the word finger in there somewhere. So, we'll move on. As for the name siamang, it is a Malay word. We know this for a fact. It is literally the Malay word for gibbon. Yeah, pretty anticlimactic, huh? Well, they also have 2 subspecies, the Sumatran and the Malaysian. I'm sure you can guess the 2 places you can find this animal. Now, I'm pretty sure you're probably wondering, What's with the throat scrote? Simple. You know how all the gibbons have a call? Well, this chesticle is for amplification. Now, due to most of the cultural influence being slotted to gibbons, specifically nondescript, and not to any one particular species, we're just going to lump it all together and talk about their cultural influence as a whole. In Chinese culture, they have been revered as a more respectable and noble version of a monkey. And this definitely is seen in other Southeast Asian beliefs, as Little Man of the Forest is a very common nickname for the animal. And in some stories, it's actually seen a little bit more literally. For example, in Cambodia, the origin of the gibbon actually goes something like this. Long ago, a family had lived in the wilderness. The child of the family had complained to his mother of his hunger and asked her for some rice. She said they first need to plant the rice. After that step was done, he complained once more. She again denied him, as they must wait for the crop to mature. All through the process of growing and cultivating the rice, the child complained of his empty belly, until one day he could wait no longer, and grabbed a handful of the cold rice and ran off into the forest in somewhat of a temper tantrum. The boy had then become lost, and to this day the hoots and hollers of the gibbon are his shouts back to civilization. It's dark, but I got a similar one that's not as dark, and it's actually probably my favorite story, and that comes from Thailand. A prince of a far-off country had traveled to be educated by a hermit in the Great Woods. After finishing his training, the hermit gifted him a silver casket and said, "This is a gift for your principality. It will help you in your destiny. If you open this casket before reaching the safety of your kingdom, however, your gift will be lost to you." The prince thanked him and traveled far, far back to his homeland. After weeks of traveling, he could not wait anymore. He opened the casket and out stepped a woman, the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. The two had immediately fallen in love, and the prince had forgotten of his homeland and the destiny that waited him there. The two traveled in bliss through the forest until one day they were set upon by a rogue who wished to take the prince's love. The two fought sword in hand for some time, but the rogue knocked the prince to the ground, and his sword fell to the woman's feet. The prince gasped, "My love, if you cherish my life, hand me my sword." But in Thai, obviously. But lo, she looked upon the prince, then to the rogue. She let her prince be killed and willingly left with his killer. The hermit had found the prince's body, and remembering his cherished memories teaching him, he brought him back to life, free of any memories of the woman and of the hermit himself, sending him back to his home. The hermit then found the woman, and in a rage for her treachery, he turned her into a gibbon as punishment. Moral of the story: never trust a hoe, and get you a homie willing to turn your traitors into lesser apes. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That's all I got. Go outside, touch grass, hug your loved ones, and bye-bye.